Hello students, welcome to Sajanjali Study Center. And today in this video lecture I will be dealing with one of your poems in the syllabus, which is titled as the Ballad of Father Gilgan. It is a very interesting poem. Uh, Remember it students, that you are gonna learn a lot about the God and the kind of help which is needed to the poor people and needy people in a society. And we will also see that how a kind man who helps, who attempts to help others, is always given praise and help by the God at last in his need also. So it is a very kind and a very emphatic and sympathetic poem. Okay, so before I come to listen, don't get worried, because I'll give you stanza wise explanation so that every confusion will be swiped away from your mind. Okay, so let us just talk about the title a little bit. Okay, so ballad, as you can see that ballad is also written in the title, and in the real form it is also a ballad. Then what is a ballad? The definition of ballad is, it is a form of written form of poem which is known as a short narrative poem. Like in this kind of written style, the writers and the poets, they used to give a story. They used to give a story through a short narrative. Okay, so this is the style of writing a ballad. Okay, so here you can also see that here we are going to get a story in this in this style of narrating or narration. Okay, so before I come to the stanza line explanation, let me tell you the story of this poem in a brief or in some brief words. Okay, so the whole theme, the whole central point of a discussion of this poem is all about the help of the Almighty God. Okay, means the God is omnipresent, means he exists everywhere. The God is omnipresent and he is watching everyone, and he also helps those needy people, those who are in a state of getting the help. Okay, so that is why uh, we also pray to the God, and we must subservient towards the God. So that is why he will help us. And in the same way, if you help somebody, like if you help a poor person, then you will get your reward from the God directly. So the protagonist of this poem is Father Gilgan. Father Gilgan means he is a priest. As you know that in Christian religion, you will see that the person who used to you know take the service of the God in their church, they are called, or he is called a father. Like in our culture, in our religion, we ask them, or we address them as nonna or a purohita or whatever. We have several words given to them, and in their religion they call them as father. You might have seen them in the churches. They used to wear a cross mark as a symbol of their religion. So here Gilligan is the name of that father who who resides in a village where he is been given the responsibility to look for the service of the God in the church. Okay, so let us just dive towards the stanzas. The old priest Peter Gilgan was weary night and day, for half his flock were in their beds or under green swords lay. So in this very first stanza, we get the introduction of the protagonist. So the protagonist's name is Peter Gilgan. He's a very old priest. Okay, so he's priest. Okay, so he works in the church, and you know that beside the work which is done by the priest in the church, they have also some other works. Like they come to the person who dies and who is in his deathbed, he needs the priest by his side, so that he, you know, he confesses his flaws, and whatever he has done, the sin which is called sin, so that he gets, you know, salvation. So to gain salvation, the person who is in his deathbed always confesses all the problems or all the flaws he has done in his life to the father, only to attain the virtue, or only to attain a place in heaven. Okay, so he was also doing that, was weary night and day. Weary means he was very weak. The father, old priest Peter Gilgan, he was very weary, means he was very weak night and day. Why? For half his flock were in their beds or under green swords lay. Okay, so the village in which, or the village in which he was residing, where there were so many people, they were getting died. Okay, so that is why Father Gilgan had to go to their home, and perform some rituals, like he needs to take the confession of the dying people. So by doing this, he was getting weak because he had no time spent of himself. Because there are, like you can see, flock means a group of, means in a day there are so many people getting died. So that is why he had no time to spare for himself. And he was, as you know, that he is the only one person in that village, so he had lot of works, like he had go from one home to another home, from there to another home, like this, was attending the, you know people who were in their deathbeds frequently, day and night. So that is why he has become weak. And or under green swords lay. Under green swords lay means somebody or some people has already died. Under green, you can see that green means it symbolizes the place, surface level of the, surface level of the field, where after the people get died, they are given, or they are buried under the ground. So that is called green swords lay. Means some people have died. Once, while he nodded on a chair. Okay, let us look at the second stanza. Once, while he nodded on a chair. So this line tells that one day, Father Peter Gilgan, he was nodding on a chair. Nodding means, the fast state of getting sleep, getting asleep. मतलब ଯେତେବେଳେ ଶୋଇବାକୁ ଆମେ ଯାଏ, ଶୋଇବା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଯେଉଁ ଘୁମାଏ, ସେ ଘୁମାଇବା ଅବସ୍ଥାକୁ ନୋଡ଼ିଂ କହନ୍ତି, ଦ ଫାଷ୍ଟ ଷ୍ଟେପ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଗେଟିଂ asleep. At the mouth hour of eve. Mouth hour, what is the meaning of mouth hour? Mouth hour means the early evening. Evening ର ଯେଉଁ starting point, ସେଇ ଟାଇମ୍ରେ ସେ କ'ଣ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ଗୋଟେ ଚେୟାର ଉପରେ ବସିକିରି ଘୁମେଇବା ଲାଗିଛନ୍ତି. କାହିଁକି you can see that in the first stanza we got a serious issue about Father Gilgan, because he has been working so much, like day and night. So that is why he has been getting so weak. He has no time for himself, and that is why, out of weakness and out of being fragile, he has been nodding. Another poor man sent for him. Okay, when he was nodding at that chair, somebody sent for him, and he began to grieve. Began to grieve means somebody is getting died, or somebody is getting, mm, somebody sleeping on his deathbed. Somebody is about to be died. So that is why Father Peter Gilgan has been called. But Peter Gilgan is doing what? You know, he has been nodding out of being weak. Then in the next stanza, I have no rest, nor joy, nor peace. For people die, and after cried he, God, forgive. My body speak, not I. See, in this stanza, you can see that Father Gilgan is putting all his inner feelings before the God. He's saying that, God, people are dying and dying and dying, and I am going to serve them. I'm going to take the confession. By doing this, I have no rest, no joy, no peace, because I am spending most of the time, and almost all the time, in taking the confession. So where can I find rest, joy, peace? There's nothing for me. I'm just, here to attend the people those are getting died. And by expressing all these things to the God, he cried. Why did he cry? He cried because he thought by by neglecting his duty and by not performing what he has been assigned by the god is something like going against the god. Suppose Father Gilgan has been given this task by the god, and when he says that this task is not good for me, that means he is going against the decision of the god. So for this reason he sought forgiveness from the god, that god, please forgive me, whatever I have told is something not being told by me, rather it is told by my body speak. See, speak is the old archaic language, means in the ancient era or in the emergence of English language, when the English language was used for the first time or written for the first time, that time speak is the past form. So here, Father Gigan is saying to the God that God, I am not saying that I have no rest, nor joy, nor peace. Rather, my body is speaking because I am so weak. I am not able to walk. I'm not able to, get sleep, full sleep. So I'm not, uh, you know, somehow I'm not free. I'm not compatible. Okay, so in the next stanza, he knelt and leaning on the chair, he prayed and fell asleep. Okay, so by expressing all these things, which is not, equivalent, or which is not similar to the tasks which is given by the, he is asking for forgiveness. He knelt and leaning on the chair. Knelt means he put his bow down, and he sat something like he is sitting on the chair and leaning on the chair. Leaning means to go forward. ବସିକିରି ଆଉ ଟିକେ ଉହୁଁ କିଛି ଆଗ ଆଡ଼କୁ ସେ ଗୋଟା ହି ପ୍ରେଡ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଫେଲ୍ asleep. ସେଇଠି ମାନେ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ଡାକି 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 ସେ ସେଇଠି ଶୋଇପଡ଼ିଲା. And the moth hour went from the fields and stars began to peep. Here in these two lines, the writer wants to say that the father or the priest Peter Gilgan, when he fell asleep, that time evening got swayed out and the night came, the stars began to peep. So in these two lines he is just trying to give us the description of the night. Okay, so the night, the slowly into millions grew. Who? Stars. Okay, stars slowly into millions grew. Means in the evening time you'll see that there are no stars. You hardly you will find uh, you know, some numbers of stars which are very low in numbers, which are very short in numbers. But as the night approaches, and as the night uh, gets nearer and nearer, you'll see that stars are getting blossomed again and again. You'll see okay, in just one sentence we can say, in the uh, early evening time you'll find very less stars in the sky, and in the midnight time you'll see there are so many stars. Even you can see that in daffodils, Warsaw has said that the galaxy of stars. Okay, so you can see the galaxy of stars here. So that is how the stars, they are slowly they are slowly growing into millions, and leaves shook in the wind. This is the description of the night. Leaves shook in the wind means leaves, the leaves of the trees, they shook in the wind when Peter, father yes, Father Peter Gilgan fell asleep, and God covered the world with shade. God covered the world with shade. What is the meaning here in this sentence? The meaning is that you see that the sunlight comes through the day, and that gives light to the planet. And when the sun is wrapped during the night time, we get the shade. ମଧ୍ୟରେ କ'ଣ ଲାଇଟ୍ ପଡ଼େ, ଆମକୁ ଯେମିତି ଦେଖାଯାଏ କିନ୍ତୁ ସବୁଆଡ଼େ ଲାଇଟ୍, ସୂର୍ଯ୍ୟ କିରଣ ଆସୁଛି, ଗରମ ଲାଗୁଛି, କିଛି ବି ବହୁତ ଗୁଡ଼େ ହେଉଛି, କିନ୍ତୁ ରାତିରେ କ'ଣ ହୁଏ ନା, ଯେମିତି କିଛି ଗୋଟେ ସୂର୍ଯ୍ୟକୁ ଘୋଡ଼େଇ ଦିଆହେଇଛି, ଯେମିତି ପୃଥିବୀଟାକୁ ଘୋଡ଼େଇ ଦିଆହେଇଛି, ପୃଥିବୀଟାକୁ ଘୋଡ଼େଇ ଦିଆଯାଇଛି, ସେଠି କ'ଣ ତାକୁ ଛାଇ ପଡ଼ିଛି, ବୁଝିପାରିଲ? ସେମିତି ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଏଠି, ଭଗବାନ କ'ଣ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ନା ରାତି ଟାଇମ୍ରେ ପୃଥିବୀଟାକୁ ଘୋଡ଼େଇ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି, ଯେମିତିକି ସୂର୍ଯ୍ୟ କିରଣ ଆସିପାରୁନି, ଲାଇଟ୍ ଆସିପାରୁନି। ଓକେ, and whispered to mankind. So here the God is trying to speak to the mankind. Upon the time of a sparrow chirp, when the moths came once more, the world priest Peter Gilligan stood upright on the floor. So this stanza gives us the description of the morning time. Upon the time of sparrow chirp, sparrow, ghar chotia, in Odia we can say ghar chotia. So they used to chirp in the early morning hour, so that they just give us the message that the day has come, and please uh, you know get awake from your sleep and do your work. When the moths came once more, means the morning came once more, the world priest Peter Gilgan stood upright on the floor. He stood again. I mean, when he got the sounds of the chirping sounds of the sparrow, and he also got the sense that the morning has come, he stood upright on the floor. He stood from his seat. Mabron, Mabron, the man has died while I slept on the chair. So in these two lines, the poet, sorry, the father of the priest Peter Gilligan, he is feeling very, very sad, very sad. Mabron, Mabron, these two words here has been used as, as to symbolize his sadness and his griefness. Okay, so in another word we say also alas alas. So alas alas is something very common, but mabram is something very religious. Okay, religious and very particular word. Okay, the man has died while I slept on the chair. Okay, here here father Peter Gilgan is trying to apprehend the situation, trying to contemplate the situation, that the man must have died while I slept on the chair. I mean, last night he slept on the chair. The time he got the call from that person, but he was not able to go there because he fell asleep while seeking for forgiveness from the God. So that is why morning has come, and that person must have died last night. He roused his horse out of its sleep. Out of its sleep means it is a very early morning hour. Means the horse has not even waken up from his sleep. So what did he do? Father Peter Gilligan went towards the horse and aroused him from his sleep and rode with little care. Rode with little care means, in this line he is trying to say that he did not care for the horse. He was like, he had only one aim, that I have to reach there, the person who had sent for me last night. He rode now as he never rode. In this line you can understand that here the poet wants to tell us that he was very speedy. He was very speedy means he tried to get there as soon as possible and as speedily as possible. Okay, so that is why he was trying his best to reach there by rocky lane and fell. See the situation. The situation means the the road was so the road had so many potholes. Potholes means রাস্তা जो खंडिया खाबरा देखते हो, rocky lanes. The road was not as much as clear, which is similar to the roads of modern days. Like, it was so nasty road that but in that nasty road he did not even care. He was not careful about his horse. He was not careful about his own health, that if he gets any accident on the road and fell asleep, then he would have to visit the hospital. I mean, so many things are there. But only thing he was caring about is he had to reach that person's home. The sick man's wife opened the door. At last he reached that person's home. Father, you come again. Okay. The sick man's wife opened the door. Means the sick man's wife, who had been, I mean, the person who was on his deathbed, his wife opened the door and said, Father, you come again. So this is a very surprising line here. Father, you come again. See, we know that Father Gilgan had slept last night, and he was not able to go to attend the confession because of his weakness, and he had got sleep. But here the wife of that sick man is saying, "Father, you come again." It is a very surprised line. Okay, we'll see that what is going to happen. And is the poor man dead? He cried. He died an hour ago. And is the poor man dead? This is the sentence which is asked by the priest to the sick man's wife. He died an hour ago. So here the sick man's wife said that he died an hour ago. The old priest Peter Gilligan in grief went to and fro. So the priest's state was something. He was so much grief. He was not feeling okay. He was not feeling good. He was so much sad to hear this news that the person who had needed him has died without giving confession to the priest. Okay, so that is something giving him very much pain and agony. The old priest Peter Ilgan, he nailed him at that word. So the moment he got this news from the sick man's wife, he knelt at that word, means he knelt on the ground, and he was feeling very painful. He who has made the night of stars. Sorry. The next stanza is, when you were gone, he turned and died as merry as a bird. So here one line more, which gives surprise to the readers and to the father Gilgan also. The sick man's wife is saying that when you are gone, he turned and died. That father Gilgan had not come. He was feeling asleep, or he was sleeping. But here the sick man's wife says, when you are gone, he turned and died. As merry as bird. As merry as a bird means he was very happy. The sick man was very happy when he got died. The old priest Peter Gilgan, he nailed him at that word. So by hearing these two lines from the sick man's wife, he knelt on the ground and speaks like this: He who has made the night of stars for souls who tire and bleed sent one of his great angels down to help me in my need. So here Pagan understands the situation and says that this act has been done by the God in my absence. So he says that the creator of this universe, the creator of the stars, he understood my situation. He understood the pain I was going through. So that is why he did what? He sent one of his angels in my form to help me and to help the death man, to help the sick man in his deathbed. So he was very happy to learn this, that the God has helped him in his need. He who is wrapped in purple robes, with planets in his care, had pity on the least of things asleep on a chair. So here in the last stanza, he also says that the creator of this planet, the creator of this universe, who is so big, who is so kind-hearted, has care for this planet and has care for the simplest things also. Means here the priest Father Gilgan says or feels that he is so small in size. He is very small in 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 being used for somebody, but still the God cares for him because he is needy, and the God helps to help them who is needy. Sorry, the God comes to help them who is needy. Means Father Gilgan feels very happy and feels very indebted towards God, that the God has helped him and has helped to somebody who is very least of things. Least means very small, very small, very small. Means who was no, like like he feels like he is very he is nobody in this world, but still he has got the help from the God, and that is how he feels very good and he feels very pleasurable. So with the end of this stanza, we also end this lesson. I hope you will all understand this poem and try to gain some more knowledge from the stanza, try to interpret the thoughts. Okay, if you find any difficulties, then call me or message me. I'll give you the notes also.